You now say that you want to talk about, in this year's conference in January, mastering the fourth industrial revolution.
When we look at the world today, we see governments and even business very much engaged in mastering the crisis of today, very much absorbed by crisis management. But if we look into the future, there is so much going on in technology. It's a real revolution, and our life, the pattern of governing societies will be so much affected with what's going on in research, in innovation. And we are not sufficiently prepared for it. Just look at the discussion on big data.
Yeah.
It shows how difficult it is to find the necessary rules, to find the necessary norms.
And look at things like artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
And robots. Look at things like gene editing.
Exactly.
You know, opening a whole new horizon for medical science.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity.
Yeah. And offers certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. You know, when you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. And of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications.
You don't see the Antifa scum saying the name of the little 8-year-old that got run over and died, took 2 days to die, 8-year-old Waukesha terror attack victim Jackson Sparks. They don't want the name of Jackson Sparks said. No, no, no. Or the names of all these other people, like this little girl, Julia, fighting for her life, ran over her head on purpose. No, 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 no. They don't want you doing it. No, no, they want you to say his name, Joseph, child rapist, coward, scumbag, Rosenbaum. Here it is.
Say his name!
Joseph Rosenbaum!
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 And notice the symbol of these evil ring wraiths
Joseph Rosenbaum!
is the mask they all wear. That way they can all wear their mask and go out and commit their crimes and promote pedophiles and everything else. And this is another group of people under slavery, under satanic bondage, marked for death by their masters. Because remember, these people are all being destroyed by the globalists. They're all the ones taking the shots. They're having the heart attacks. They're having the blood clots. They don't care because they'll do anything their God wants. They'll hand their children over to it. They'll go to drag queen story time. They'll do whatever they have to. Because they love death.
This frequency band of fear, this mind virus, this deeply imbalanced frequency of consciousness, if you like, can attach to you. And if it attaches to you, and the way it does it is through the subconscious, if you become aware of this mind virus and its influence upon you, its influence upon you disappears. So it hides in the subconscious. And you know, according to psychological studies, something like 95% of human behavior, response, reaction comes from the subconscious, not the conscious mind.
When you
excited,
push this all the way, the needle will
She's wearing a mask. Oh, look, it's like a... Oh my gosh, you can see it's a fake little tip.
There you go.
Oh, they're all laughing.
And then you can see, too,
they move the needle or the fake syringe up her skin, which you wouldn't be able to do if there was a needle on it. It wouldn't be able to just move up your skin like that. You'd be bleeding ridiculously. Okay, in clip 11. So let's roll clip 11 so you can see the enhanced zoom in on his neck. He's doing an interview on NBC, and I mean, I don't talk about lizard people, but have you ever seen that before? Look at this.
What have you learned about serious side effects in this vaccine? As you know, we're seeing a lot of companies and institutions right now moving toward, do you anticipate or maybe stay up at night thinking about the possibility you're going to have to go back in the lab at some point and come up with something better?
Oh, yes, and we do that constantly.
Do you anticipate or maybe stay up at night thinking about the possibility you're going to have to go back in the lab at some point and come up with something better?
Oh, yes, and we do that constantly.
Talk, if you can, for a moment.
So now guys, roll the HD footage so they can see the HD video from NBC too, just to see that actually happened. That's actually his neck. That's wacky, weird stuff. And so there you go, though. There is the CEO of Pfizer with a lizard frog neck.
I really like sports, and sports is good for people, but it's been taken over and it's sick. It's woke, and that's why it has about half the viewers it had just 5 years ago. And I'm not the only person that's had this exodus out of it, but watching the unified talking heads demonizing somebody that didn't want to put some experimental shot in their body that's banned in most countries. And then disgusting Howard Stern, who you know they're blackmailing with all the stuff he's done in the past, coming out saying, F him, F Aaron Rodgers, he should be kicked out of the NFL for refusing the injection. And then I have stacks of news here where the Pfizer and Moderna shot is getting either banned completely or major governments are saying do not give it to people under 30 because it's causing people that have young, healthy hearts to have heart attacks and die. Doesn't matter if it's skin divers or soccer players or football players or baseball players or basketball players. Record numbers have myocarditis, and their doctors tell them, oh, you got this from the vaccine. Hopefully you'll get better.
A Baker County high school senior is in the hospital after collapsing on the tennis courts.
Breaking new details on the deaths of a high school soccer player.
Finland, Denmark star man Christian Eriksen collapsing towards the end of the first half.
The Kennedy High community mourning tonight after one of their high school football players died.
A South Carolina high school football player has died after collapsing at football practice.
Star college basketball player collapsing on the court. We want to warn you, the video may be difficult to watch.
Florida Gators star Keontae Johnson collapsing during the game.
A West Catholic high school student has died after collapsing during a football scrimmage.
On mile 8, she suddenly felt fuzzy and blacked out.
17-year-old Ryan Jacobs' heart stopped.
Unexpectedly collapsed on the field.
Megan went into cardiac arrest.
Collapsing during Friday night's football game.
So you might be wondering how someone in such great shape could suffer cardiac arrest.
It's a rare thing that happens. The coroner says the condition is rare. It's just one of those tragedies.
Did she have any signs
before
this race?
Absolutely not. She felt like she's in the best shape of her life.
That's incredible.
The top skin diver in the world. This happened 4 months ago, and he's getting worse and worse, and now his heart valve collapsed, and he might die. And they had to go replace his heart valve. Incredible. You remember back, in the early days, I say the earliest for me, like back in the 80s and 90s, you would see really healthy basketball players would just collapse and die.
Success story took a tragic turn this morning. Len Bias, the Maryland University basketball star on his way to becoming a world champion Boston Celtic, died of an apparent heart attack today at Leland Memorial Hospital in Prince George's County.
I mean, you can't go out there and take drugs when your heart is operating at such a level and you're so primed. It's like giving a racehorse, drugs, it'll have a heart attack. And that's what's happening to these people because they're causing blood clots in the body and the heart just totally freaks out. It's killing old people as well, but we have have the studies, we have the information, and there they are demonizing Aaron Rodgers, which will only make the guy a hero. I mean, I wish more of sports was like Aaron Rodgers, but they're just not the type of people I look up to. I see sports icons now as just as disgusting as Howard Stern or any of the leftists in Hollywood pushing their forced injection illusions.
Trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, or whatever that means. Into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out. What's in my head, and I am feeling a little peculiar. Until I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, my life is still trying to get up that great big hula of hope for a destination.
I contacted the Prime Minister last night. We are grateful for the support of about 20 ADF personnel as well as army trucks to assist with the transfer of positive cases and close contacts and to support the communities.
So did you hear that? The Army will come to pick you up if you've been in close contact with someone that's had COVID or you've had COVID. Think about how dystopian this is.
Whenever a government claims to have the people's interest at heart, you need to think again. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite sincerely concerned about the well-being of regular people. What makes any of us think that it is different now? If the age of enlightenment has brought forth anything, then certainly this. Never take anything any government tells you at face value.
The only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated.
Always question everything any government does or does not do. Always look for ulterior motives and always ask, cui bono, who benefits.
The voluntary phase is over. It's time for mandates.
Whenever a political elite pushes an agenda this hard and resorts to extortion and manipulation to get their way, you can almost always be sure your benefit is definitely not what they had at heart.
It was a case of asking people to go home, and if they didn't, arresting them.
As far as I'm concerned, I will not be vaccinated with anything that has not been properly vetted and tested and has shown no sound scientific evidence that the benefits outweigh the disease itself and possible long-term side effects, which, to this day, we don't know anything about. I will not be reduced to a mere guinea pig by getting vaccinated with an experimental drug. And I will most assuredly not get vaccinated because my government tells me to and promises in return I will be granted freedom.
If you have travel plans, there is one more thing to add to your packing list: proof of vaccination.
Let's be clear about one thing. No one grants me freedom, for I am a free person.
No. Screw your freedom.
It has nothing to do with freedom. It has nothing to do with liberty.
So I dare the European Commission and the German government throw me in jail, lock me up and throw away the key for all I care. But you will never be able to coerce me into being vaccinated if I, the free citizen that I am, choose not to be vaccinated.
No tyranny. Otherwise, take the Statue of Liberty back to France.